What's up, YouTube? Got a good one for you today. What we're going to talk about is one of my favorite subjects ever: support and resistance. Very, very simple concept, very, very hard to master, but I want to at least introduce the concept. You'll get better with it over time. It starts off a little weird when you first pick it up, but eventually gets easier and easier. Let's jump straight into the charts. Let's keep this quick. So here's how the charts are looking. We have it on the daily time frame. Let's just say you wanted to start it off big picture. Hey, I kind of feel like we're in some kind of channel. I don't really know what we're doing. At minimum, I at least want to be able to identify where is support from a macro sense and where is resistance. So let's start with a very simple concept, but something I think is key. Just double click. Get rid of all the other indicators. Get rid of your RSI. Get rid of your volume. Get rid of all that. Just double click. Let's look at that. And we're going to use one of our first tools. It's the very first thing under the crosshair on the top left. It's your trend line tool. We're going to click, we're going to hold shift, just drag over. So now what I have done, and I was using my eyeballs and I followed that up with the trend line tool, is identified where the market has tested. The thing to keep in mind is ideal support comes down to a horizontal line. So if I can find a level, a place on the chart where lots of horizontal tests have taken place, then I can feel really good about that being the support level. So right now, bringing that to current, this is our key support. So 30K is like the God line. That is the level that every bull is banking on. If we come back down there, you should expect a lot of buyers to step in. So we're not getting into like what I'm expecting or market theory or any of that. We're just talking about pure support. Now, where might resistance be? So again, we're just talking in horizontals. So if we had to find a level that was pretty key, that would encapsulate some of the price action that we're seeing on the macro, you could do your best, kind of find a level. We have this point. This is the point where things sold off. We see lots of little activity here. We have a retest here. Perhaps we can make a case that that is the start of resistance. Let's bring that over. Let's see how the market reacted. Lo and behold, you have lots of little retests, lots of retests. So check. This is about as good as you're going to get. It's not super clean, but let's take it from the daily. Let's zoom in. Let's look at, say, the 4 hour. What can we figure out about this? Now, we're getting into real-time Bitcoin actionable intel. So we started with kind of the daily perspective. We're just kind of getting our bearings, right? We're looking at the map. Where are we on the map? So now we're looking at the 4 hour. What do we have here? What, at least horizontally speaking, where can we see a really key level being tested a number of times? Well, what is this? 45,600. Lots of tests here, test, and then it looks like we're potentially making our way up to that. So about 45,500, somewhere in that. One of the things you need to keep in mind too is whenever it comes to these support resistance line, never think of it as a hard, to the dollar, to the penny kind of line. Think of it as like a zone. So you got to be a little bit flexible. So if we extend this back, we can see there's all these little tests. That's great. But then kind of on the downside here, was that really count as a test? Probably not. But could that and that? Yep. I mean, that makes sense. What about that? It didn't actually come up to the dollar. Yes, that absolutely would count as a market-wide test. So these are things just to kind of keep in mind. Don't be so dogmatic that you kind of miss the forest for the trees at times. So keep it real simple. I like to use horizontals. I think in the grand scheme of things, horizontals do outperform diagonals 99 times out of 100. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But there are times when diagonals are useful, and one of these times is right now. So what we're looking at, if I zoom in, is now we have sort of a ceiling. This is the level the market has had a lot of trouble breaking through over the last 3 months. Okay, we have a sort of ceiling we can identify, and at the same time, we have a floor. This is where the buyers have stepped in a number of times. So again, we're not getting into like market theory and what we think might happen, et cetera, et cetera. We're just talking about just very basic. How can I put into perspective what has been happening? Before I go, I am going to show you this last thing. If we use the parallel channel tool, which is a great way to do both support and resistance, so identify it. What I might do at times is overlay on one key line that I know and see if I can drag it to find another key level. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if I fiddle with it a little bit, get rid of the old line, and before you know it, you have some semblance of a channel. Channels are great ways to trade if you're an active trader. I don't prefer this style of trading. I think you'll lose more times than you'll win on the low time frame stuff. But I just wanted to show how some people would view that. The same thing applies on this line that we drew. So I'm going to delete it, but I'm going to draw it right back using our channel tool and then extend it down. So this is how a lot of people might view the market. So what I've done is yes, this kind of cuts below, but we included the retest, and then the midline, which is this orange line. I'm going to bolden that a little bit so you can see it. The midline you can see is getting a lot of activity. So the market is responding well to this price action being in a channel. So if you're looking for a moment to be bullish, a moment to be bearish, etc., the break out of that is when you would start being very bullish. Otherwise, you're really just kind of trading, one side to the other. You're buying the lows, you're selling the highs, on and on. And so for the foreseeable future, until it breaks one way or another, that's how the chop traders do it, and that's how some people do it. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it this time. Thank you for your support. Be sure to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/CryptoJack, and also on Twitter at _CryptoJack. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time.